As we age, the idea of exploring new places can still spark excitement and a sense of nostalgia. Travel, once synonymous with adventure and freedom, can feel like a natural way to keep the spirit of exploration alive. However, for many seniors, the reality of traveling after the age of 70 is often more complicated than it appears. While the desire to discover new destinations remains strong, the risks and challenges associated with travel in later years are frequently underestimated. It's not about abandoning the joy of discovery, but rather about understanding the physical and emotional limits that naturally come with aging. Knowing what your body and mind can handle, and what they can no longer easily tolerate, is crucial to maintaining a healthy and fulfilling lifestyle. In this video, we will explore why travel may no longer be in your best interest as you get older, covering both health risks and emotional factors that are often overlooked. However, we'll also show you how to find joy, comfort, and fulfillment in this stage of life without the need to board a plane. Number 1. Emotional exhaustion and the loss of familiar grounding. Travel is often depicted as a gateway to joy, discovery, and freedom, the ultimate escape from routine. Yet, what's rarely discussed, especially for those over 70, is the emotional toll that travel can silently take. New destinations, unfamiliar environments, and the chaos of constantly shifting schedules can overwhelm the mind, disorienting your sense of time and depleting your emotional resilience more quickly than anticipated. For many older adults, there's an intrinsic and sometimes unspoken need for familiarity, routines, spaces, faces, things that anchor us and provide a sense of security. When those familiar touchstones are removed, what remains isn't always the excitement or wonder that travel is supposed to bring. Instead, it can be a quiet but heavy sense of confusion, loneliness, or a disquiet that's hard to put into words. Take Robert, for example, a 75-year-old man who embarked on a long-awaited trip to a national park he had always dreamed of visiting. But by day 3 something felt off. He couldn't sleep in the hotel bed, he missed his usual morning walk around the block, and he struggled to find food that sat well with him. When his daughter asked if he was enjoying the trip, he smiled and nodded, but deep inside he was counting the days until he could return home. It wasn't the beauty of the park or the excitement of the adventure that drained him. What wore him down was the loss of his rhythm, the loss of the small comforts that had become part of his life, the sense of being out of control, and the feeling of being disconnected from the familiar. We often underestimate how deeply our surroundings shape our sense of peace. The familiar corner chair where you sip your morning coffee, the radio station you know by heart, the comforting ritual of flipping on the light switch in your own bathroom. These small details aren't just habits. They are emotional anchors. Traveling uproots these anchors, and when you've spent decades building a life that feels like it fits you perfectly, suddenly wearing a foreign jacket, even for a few days, can be surprisingly exhausting. There's also the subtle pressure of trying to keep pace with younger companions, of pushing yourself to maintain a facade of enjoyment so your loved ones don't worry. The emotional labor of appearing fine when you're not can weigh even heavier than your suitcase, especially when it feels like you're carrying the burden of reassuring others while quietly struggling with your own discomfort. When you return home, recovery isn't just about physical rest. It's a slow, spiritual recalibration. Your nervous system has been shaken, and it needs time to adjust back to the grounded sense of security you left behind. You may find yourself needing more than just a nap to recover. You need the comfort of your own bed, your own routine, and the return to the small, simple things that restore your sense of balance. This doesn't mean you've become inflexible or unwilling to explore. It means you've reached a point of wisdom, the understanding that peace has value, stability is a strength, and that you no longer need to chase after things or places to prove your life is full. In truth, the quiet richness of a walk through your neighborhood, a heartfelt phone call with an old friend, or a home-cooked meal that's become part of the fabric of your life can bring more joy than the whirlwind of a trip you'll forget in a week. Staying home doesn't mean you've stopped living. It means you've begun to listen more carefully to your body and to the quieter wisdom within. You've learned the difference between true adventure and the anxiety of overextending yourself. And that kind of wisdom, the ability to prioritize what brings you real peace, deserves more respect than any passport stamp ever could. Number 2. The strain of navigating new environments and physical spaces. As we age, even the simplest tasks that were once second nature can become more challenging, especially when placed in unfamiliar environments. Traveling introduces a host of new physical and environmental obstacles that can be physically demanding and mentally draining. From navigating airports and train stations to adjusting to the layout of unfamiliar hotels or public spaces, these daily logistics can take a toll on both the body and mind. For example, airport terminals, train stations, and bus stations, places that were once bustling hubs of excitement, can now feel overwhelming, especially when dealing with long lines, crowded spaces, and the physical strain of hauling luggage. Escalators, narrow aisles, high stairs, and long distances between gates can make even the most straightforward travel experience a source of physical stress. The constant need to be alert and aware of your surroundings while dealing with unfamiliar layouts, signs in foreign languages, or transportation systems can create a level of cognitive fatigue that most younger travelers don't experience. Consider an older adult with limited mobility or chronic pain conditions. Even simple activities like boarding a plane, getting in and out of taxis, or walking long distances from one terminal to another can become difficult tasks. Often, there is little to no time to rest, and what may seem like a minor inconvenience for others can feel overwhelming for someone dealing with age-related physical limitations. These challenges are exacerbated by the anxiety of not knowing where to go, how to get there, or who to ask for help. The strain of navigating these unfamiliar environments is not just physical. It's also emotional. The mental energy spent on simply understanding the logistics, figuring out new systems, remembering new routes, or understanding different cultural norms, can leave you feeling mentally drained long before you even reach your destination. Additionally, the stress of managing time-sensitive travel, like catching flights or meeting scheduled connections, can weigh heavily on someone whose energy and stamina are not what they used to be. Traveling to new places no longer feels like an exciting challenge. It can become a constant negotiation with one's physical and mental energy. The peace of mind that comes with knowing your environment, the comfort of navigating familiar streets, pathways, and routines, is something we often take for granted. For seniors, when those comforts are stripped away, the journey itself can become more stressful than enjoyable. Instead of feeling the excitement of discovery, you may find yourself simply wishing for a break, for a moment of respite in a familiar place. These physical and mental strains are often overlooked in the romanticized view of travel, but they are real and can significantly impact an older adult's experience. Recognizing these challenges doesn't mean avoiding travel altogether, but it does mean acknowledging the need for more planning and flexibility. Perhaps it means choosing destinations with accessible infrastructure or traveling during off-peak times to avoid crowds. It also means considering whether the benefits of the trip outweigh the physical and emotional costs. Sometimes, the best form of adventure is finding new ways to enjoy life without the physical strain that long trips can impose. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend subscribing and turning on the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. Your support helps us keep creating valuable videos to inform and inspire you. Number 3. Disrupted medication and medical support. One of the most underestimated challenges of traveling in later years is how travel can disrupt your medication routine, and with it, your overall health stability. What might feel like a seamless routine at home can quickly fall apart when you're crossing time zones, adjusting your sleep patterns, or scrambling to find your pill organizer. Even something as simple as taking your heart medication a few hours later than usual or forgetting to take a dose of your blood thinner can set off a chain reaction in your body that takes days, or even weeks, to recover from. Take John, for example, an 86-year-old man who traveled to a different state to visit his family. On the second day of his trip, the timing of his meals got delayed, his evening routine changed, and he forgot to take his blood sugar medication until late in the night. That one oversight led to dizziness, fatigue, and confusion, symptoms that could easily have been mistaken for something more serious. That's the tricky part about traveling when you're older. When your health takes an unexpected turn, it's harder to distinguish between a minor glitch and a serious health crisis. At home, you know exactly who to call when something feels off. Your doctor knows your medical history, your prescriptions, your allergies, and what side effects are normal for you. But when you're far away, you may have to rely on urgent care centers, over-the-counter treatments, or unfamiliar healthcare systems that don't know your unique health needs. Even with comprehensive travel insurance, nothing quite compares to the peace of mind that comes with being understood and well cared for in a familiar setting. Additionally, there's always the possibility of running out of medication, losing it during travel, or discovering that your prescription isn't available in a new location. This is especially concerning for those managing chronic conditions like high blood pressure, irregular heart rhythms, thyroid issues, or insulin-dependent diabetes. One missed dose could easily tip the balance between feeling fine and facing a medical setback. Maintaining a consistent medication routine isn't just a habit, it's a structure that supports your health. When travel disrupts this structure, it can leave your body vulnerable in ways you never anticipated. The freedom that comes with traveling should never come at the expense of your health's foundation. Before you make any travel plans, take a moment to ask yourself, are you truly prepared to manage your health without the familiar support system you rely on at home? Because in your 70s and beyond, even a few disrupted days can have lasting effects. Not because your body is weak, but because your health is far too precious to gamble with. Recognizing this is not a matter of fear, it's a matter of wisdom. Number 4. Emergency care becomes more challenging and risky. In your younger years, you might have embraced the occasional travel risk as part of the adventure. However, as we age, even a seemingly small health issue can quickly turn into a medical emergency. And when that happens far from home, the outcome is often determined not by your strength or will, but by the medical systems around you. The reality is that emergency care while traveling is rarely straightforward. Whether you're in a neighboring state or abroad, getting timely, reliable medical attention becomes a complex challenge. Imagine this scenario. What if you suddenly collapse in a hotel lobby or experience chest pain during a sightseeing tour? Who will advocate for you if you're unable to speak for yourself? Will the local doctors have access to your medical history, medications, allergies, or recent lab results? Can they make the same decisions your regular healthcare provider would? The answer is probably not, and it's not because they lack skill but because they don't know you. Take the case of Martha, an 83-year-old woman who was visiting Europe on a river cruise. She slipped on a cobblestone street and fractured her hip. The nearest hospital was over an hour away, and once she arrived, the language barrier and lack of familiarity with her insurance complicated matters. Martha's daughter back home couldn't reach the medical team, and what could have been a straightforward injury at home turned into a long and stressful ordeal. The physical pain was compounded by confusion and exhaustion, and even after her flight home, her recovery was made more difficult by the disorienting experience of foreign medical care. Even in countries with well-established healthcare systems, waiting times can be long, paperwork can be confusing, and the standard of care might not be what you're accustomed to. Travel insurance might cover some expenses, but it won't provide you with the comfort of a familiar nurse or the reassurance of a doctor who knows your history. It won't offer the peace of mind that comes from having a trusted medical team who understands how your body reacts to illness or treatment, nor will it allow you to recover in your own bed surrounded by loved ones. Emergency care abroad isn't just about whether it's available, it's about whether it's the right care for you. As we grow older, medical emergencies often involve more subtle symptoms. Dizziness, changes in blood sugar, breathing difficulties, or confusion. These warning signs can be easily missed, and by the time you realize something is wrong, the opportunity for timely treatment may already be slipping away. So, ask yourself, is it worth being far from home when your health may need the people and systems who truly understand it? No trip, no matter how beautiful, is worth the risk of facing a medical emergency alone, without the support and familiarity that are crucial to your well-being. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend subscribing and turning on the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. Your support helps us keep creating valuable videos to inform and inspire you. Number 5. Long travel increases the risk of blood clots and circulatory strain. One of the less obvious dangers of long trips, particularly for seniors, is the strain prolonged sitting can put on your circulatory system. Whether it's during a long flight or extended car ride, many older adults don't realize how harmful it can be to sit for hours without moving. When we're younger, we may cross our legs, fall asleep in a cramped seat, and still walk away with little more than a stiff back. But as we age, circulation doesn't function the way it used to. Blood flow slows down, veins lose some of their elasticity, and the risk of developing deep vein thrombosis (DVT), dangerous blood clots that form in the legs and can travel to the lungs, increases significantly when the body remains immobile for extended periods. What may seem like a minor inconvenience can become a serious health threat. Take the case of Frank, a 76-year-old man who decided to fly for 6 hours to attend his grandson's graduation. He tried to be cautious. He walked the aisles a couple of times, drank plenty of water, and wore compression socks. But despite his efforts, 2 days after arriving, Frank felt chest pain and shortness of breath. Doctors determined that a clot had formed during the flight and had traveled to his lungs. Fortunately, he received treatment in time, but his trip was quickly overshadowed by a medical emergency. The irony is that sitting still, doing nothing, can be more dangerous than walking around. For many seniors, mobility issues or stiffness can make it even harder to move around when needed. Add dehydration, changes in air pressure, and the stress of travel, and you have the perfect combination for a circulatory emergency that could affect your health more seriously than expected. Even road trips, often seen as a safer alternative to flying, come with similar risks. Spending hours in a car with limited stops and little chance to stretch out can slow down blood circulation just as much. You might not notice the problem right away, but symptoms like swollen ankles, aching legs, or tightness in your chest can appear gradually. By the time you realize what's happening, you might be far from home without your usual doctor or medical records. These circulatory issues aren't something you can simply walk off. Once your blood flow slows down, it requires intentional action to keep it moving smoothly and safely. For seniors with a history of heart conditions, high blood pressure, or previous surgeries, this risk multiplies, and what should have been a simple trip can lead to complications that affect your health for weeks or even months. Travel itself isn't the enemy, it's the failure to acknowledge and respect your body's new limitations. When your blood isn't circulating properly, neither are you, not for long at least. That's why, before you embark on your next journey, it's essential to consider not just your destination, but the journey your body, and your blood, will have to make while you're still. Sometimes, staying grounded isn't a limitation. It's a choice that preserves your health and longevity. Number 6. Compromised immunity and the risk of unfamiliar germs. One of the most overlooked dangers of traveling in later years is how much more vulnerable our immune system becomes to new environments. While your body may feel steady in your daily life, stepping into the hustle and bustle of an airport, a hotel, or even a crowded tourist bus exposes you to a wide array of germs your body may not have encountered in years, or ever. In your younger years, your immune system may have bounced back quickly from such exposures, but now recovery is no longer as swift. Even what seems like a simple cold can quickly turn into a more serious condition, such as bronchitis or pneumonia. What might once have been a minor inconvenience could end up requiring a hospital visit, and once you fall ill, healing takes much longer and can be more complicated. Consider the case of George, an 81-year-old who decided to take a cruise with his daughter for her birthday. On the third day, he developed a mild sore throat. However, in the confined space of the cruise ship, with constant air conditioning and buffet-style meals, that sore throat turned into a chest infection. George ended up being airlifted to a hospital from the port. What was supposed to be a joyful vacation turned into weeks of struggling to regain his strength. The risks are not just airborne germs. Changes in altitude, disrupted sleep schedules, and unfamiliar food or water can all weaken your body's defenses further. Your skin, digestive system, and even your nasal passages are more sensitive as you age. Even small exposures to unfamiliar germs can feel magnified. And because these symptoms often don't show up right away, you could be far from home by the time they do, without your regular doctor, your routine, and sometimes the energy to properly advocate for your own health. This doesn't mean that you should become fearful of every new environment, but it's important to recognize that what might seem like a small risk for a younger person can pose a much greater threat to you. especially if you are managing chronic conditions or taking medications that further compromise your immune system. Staying home doesn't mean isolating yourself. It simply means you have greater control over your environment, your air, your food, your sleep, and your daily routine. At this stage of life, where your energy is more limited, protecting your health should no longer be a gamble. Travel used to be all about discovery, but sometimes, the greatest discovery is learning to listen to your body, understanding what it needs now, and honoring that above all else. Final thoughts: finding joy, comfort, and fulfillment without boarding a plane. As we grow older, the idea of adventure and discovery doesn't necessarily have to be tied to distant lands or foreign cities. While travel can be exciting and fulfilling, it is important to recognize that fulfillment in this stage of life can come from the simplest of pleasures, often found right at home. The idea of seeking joy, comfort, and personal growth without the need to board a plane is not just a possibility, it's an opportunity to deepen our connection with the world around us, to appreciate what we have, and to find peace in the spaces we already inhabit. One of the most beautiful aspects of this stage in life is the freedom to slow down and appreciate the quiet moments. The rush of daily life often distracts us from the small joys that are always present. A cup of coffee in the morning, a leisurely walk around the neighborhood, or an afternoon spent reading a beloved book. These activities, which may have felt mundane in our younger years, take on new meaning as we age. They offer us a chance to ground ourselves, to reconnect with the things that truly matter. In many ways, staying home allows us to cultivate a life that fits us like a glove. At home, we can design our surroundings to reflect our comfort, preferences, and needs. The familiar chair where you sip your tea, the music station you tune into in the evenings, the soft lighting in your living room. These small, comforting rituals and routines create a foundation of emotional security. When we strip away the pressures of travel, we are able to embrace the beauty of simplicity, of living in harmony with our surroundings. Another source of joy is the ability to nurture relationships and create meaningful connections with those around us. As we grow older, we often realize that time with family and friends is the most precious gift. Rather than chasing new experiences abroad, we can focus on enriching the relationships we already have. Whether it's hosting a dinner for loved ones, spending quality time with grandchildren, or simply catching up over the phone with an old friend, these moments of connection provide us with a sense of belonging and purpose. The joy that comes from these interactions is often deeper and more lasting than any brief moment of excitement we may experience while traveling. Furthermore, the pursuit of personal growth and fulfillment does not have to be confined to grand adventures. It can come from dedicating ourselves to hobbies, learning new skills, or taking on projects that inspire us. Gardening, painting, cooking, or volunteering are just a few examples of how we can channel our energy into activities that bring us fulfillment and satisfaction. There is a certain contentment that comes from engaging in something that nurtures our creativity and contributes to the community, and these pursuits can be just as enriching as any travel experience. In fact, sometimes it is in the quiet moments at home, the peaceful solitude, the sense of stability, that we find the deepest joy. It is the wisdom of knowing that life's most profound experiences often do not require crossing borders or stepping onto planes. They are found in the present, in the way we engage with our surroundings, the people we love, and the activities that bring us joy. So, while the allure of travel will always remain, we can redefine adventure in a way that aligns with our current stage of life. We can explore the inner world, deepen our relationships, and find joy in the places and people that already surround us. In the end, true fulfillment comes not from the places we go, but from how we choose to live, how we connect with others, and how we nurture our sense of peace and contentment, all without ever needing to leave home. Sometimes, the greatest journey is not to a faraway destination but within ourselves. If you found these insights helpful, please leave a comment below sharing your thoughts. We'd love to hear how you find joy and fulfillment in your daily life. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on more videos like this. Your support helps us keep creating content that informs and inspires you to live your best life. Remember, life is a beautiful journey, and sometimes the most fulfilling experiences are found right where we are. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.